Hi Jodie, nice to see you again.
No, you too.
Everyone, just like to say a big warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us for the PA Forum Zoom series. We're delighted today to be joined by CEO of the CHS Group, Emma Cartmell, who I have known for many, many, many years now. She's a prolific figure in the hospitality industry and has started the Conference and Hospitality Show in Leeds 11 years ago. And we were waiting for some fantastic news from the government that the big show that she's organising in Birmingham will be coming this year. And so we got that news, and I was straight on the phone to Emma and said, right, you need to come on and tell us all about it. So I have sent Emma some questions because I'm struggling with my voice today, so please forgive me. But I'd like to introduce everybody to Emma Cartmell. Thanks for joining us, Emma.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. And I'll try and do my best at kind of interviewing myself to give your voice a break. But we're a lovely sized group, actually. So if you've got any questions, just stop me. If I'm on a roll, just jump in. We can make it very much conversational. And I'm also happy for it to go in whichever direction you want to, because I was saying to Dan, because of what I do, I've had to read thoroughly and digest all the rules around having meetings. So if you've got any questions about meetings that you're organising or need to organise, if I haven't got the answer, I'll know where to go and get it for you. So just jump in with any questions. So Dan's asked me to come and speak to you because I think I might have met some of you before. We've been doing things over the years with Dan. We do a show in Leeds every year called CHS Leeds. It's all about the meetings and events industry and hospitality industry. So we have lots of the exhibition side is all hotels, venues, and people who supply sort of services and products for meetings and events. It can be Christmas parties, board meetings, retreats, company conferences, and everything else in between. And for the audience, which is very much PAs, EAs, VAs, we have event organisers, venue finders, agencies, anybody in the kind of who does events as part of their job or completely for their job come along. So normally it's a lovely kind of it's a lovely intimate show, isn't it, Dan? It's not like one of these really big faceless ones where you're just walking around and you just want to do the seminar programs. Everyone's lovely and friendly. I think it's because we're up north, really. I think it's kind of we're a lovely show. And normally we have, well, even this year we have speakers on. So I'm working with Dan in terms of what speakers would be relevant for you guys to come along. You have the exhibition program. We have drinks receptions. We have kind of a welcome party. We have all different things going on, which we're still planning the most of that this year, but of course it's got to be done differently because of COVID-19. So it's taking place at the ICC in Birmingham on the 27th of October. Obviously we'd love as many of you guys to come along. So any input that you want to give either today or via Dan going forward, we really would love to hear it. And our focus is twofold, really. One is the safety element, and it's interesting when, just like as we were talking earlier, people have different levels of concern, if you like, about going out and travel and what have you. It is 3 months away, so things will hopefully have changed by then. And I'm very much aware there's a big difference between, so it's not a difference between, but being safe is one thing, but also feeling safe is really important. So we're really working on all that of like how we let you know that you're safe. So things like, I was chatting to the ICC yesterday saying, we need to think about when people access the building, everyone touching the doors. He said, don't worry, our doors are automatic, so no one has to touch the doors on the way in. So it's thinking about all those kind of touch points and so things like, I know how often the toilet's going to be cleaned. There's going to be somebody on the toilets all the time, just, making sure there's not too many people in there. So all the time there's all that kind of safety aspect being put into the event. But then there's that other element of just having a really good time, and you don't want to come to something if all you can think about is, wash your hands, don't touch anything, and be on edge all the time. So we've got all that kind of stuff we're putting in that you can come and have a really good day from an education perspective, connect with people, have all that human interaction, but from a distance. So what we're looking at is how we can, we're looking at kind of, 5-star hotels and thinking, okay, how are they doing it? How are they still giving people that 5-star experience? If you were going away for a spa break, how are they doing that alongside all the COVID-19 security stuff? So that's what we're looking at the moment, is how can we give you guys a really great experience whilst being safe? So once we've kind of got all that in place, we'll communicate all that out, and then it's a case of coming along, enjoying the day, watching the seminars. We've got Simon Hughes, who I don't think any of you would probably have a reason to know. He's chair of the BVEP, which was the British Events Partnership. So they're the people that have been lobbying government to get us dates for events to reopen. So he's going to come and open the show. We've got great keynote speaker at the end of the day. We're having, lunch is going to be sort of lovely served. How we're doing it. We were saying, with the talk to the guys yesterday, it was like, would you like to serve Prosecco with lunch? I was like, yes, why not? People are coming, why not give them a bottle, a little bottle of Prosecco with their lunch? It'll be a nice thing to do and such like. So yeah, and I realised I've not answered your questions, Dan. I've just one of them. But you asked me kind of how it all started. So we've been in Leeds for 11 years. I used to run an event management company before I did this. So it's still events, but now it's mainly exhibitions. And we've built it in Leeds. We're now kind of wall bound. It's as big as it can go. And there's lots of events like this happen in London, but it was very much, the Midlands has got nothing like this that's for the events industry. So we have been working really closely with people in the Midlands and Birmingham itself to bring the event to Birmingham. So it's been really well received by certainly the hotel industry and what have you. So we're really excited that Birmingham finally gets its own show. But I would say we've grown mainly because we really do listen to feedback and what people want. So if you're thinking, oh, it'd be great if they did this, or they're not thinking about that, we are genuinely all ears, and if we can't do something that gets recommended to us, we say why. And so every time we get feedback, we'll say, this is what we're doing differently because you've said this is what we're not doing differently, but this is the reason why. So ideas around what subjects you want to hear, because it's the end of October, so things that are pressing now might not be pressing by then, in terms of I
think that's a good point there, Emma. So also, a lot of you know that we're looking at the agenda for our Learning and Development Conference comes out next week. But if you were to go, if you can interact either by the chat box or if you want to take your mics off mute, but do you think that you would, how would you feel about going to the show at the moment? Would any of you feel comfortable to go to the show, or would you prefer to see something, more of the online element for you? Would you be going more for the seminars, or do you still want that interaction with all of the suppliers? I think we're really keen to know how you guys feel about it at the moment. So we'd be really interested to hear if anyone's got any feedback.
Hi Dan, it's Hayley. Sorry, my camera's not working today for some reason. I don't mean to be having on.
Hi Hayley.
That's okay.
I think it was really good what Emma was saying, just about knowing all the safety aspects before you go. So me personally, I would come to an event, but it's really nice to hear that it's being taken seriously in terms of all of the hand sanitisation and all that kind of stuff. I think it just puts people's minds at rest. So like you said,
I'm actually going to do a video, Hayley. I'm going to go to the venue because I think, there's a lot of things around personal hygiene. So obviously, we'll be hand sanitizer everywhere and such like. But so things that I said about the 5-star experience, I'm looking at hiring kind of concierge to make sure they're there to open the doors for people, so you don't have to touch any doors in your whole time while you're at this, because it's a touch points where it's, if you keep your distance. And we are hoping that masks won't be compulsory. At the moment they're not at all. Some people might prefer to wear one, and they'll be absolutely welcome to. But so things I want to say is panels of an exhibition stand are all 1 metre wide. So if you're not sure about your distance and you want to keep 1 metre or 2 metre, you can just stand by a panel and judge your distance very easily.
Oh, that's really good. Actually, that's really good.
Yeah, so you build, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a walkthrough to say, look, I can get around this show without touching anything. You know, yes, when you go to the bathroom, the door will be, but you'll have to kind of, we're not going to walk you into the toilet. And then come out and, you know, wash your hands, obviously. So if you keep your distance and don't have to touch anything, and the lunch will all be boxed, but I've said I do not want like a horrible sandwich and a packet of crisps in a brown bag, because so it's going to be the lovely kind of platter things. Like I'm thinking more like a ploughman's lunch type thing that's lovely, and people can choose if they want to be uber healthy or they want to kind of go meat feast type thing, and then be able to choose kind of beer or a small bottle of prosecco or water or juice if that's what they want. There'll be 4 people to a table, so you won't be sat on top of people. You'll be asked to pick a lunch time so that we know that we won't be overstretched in terms of you going through and sitting down. There'll be lots of tea and coffee stations, so you won't have to queue for tea and coffee. So the lead show, we have a big teepee in the middle, and it's normally heaving in there, isn't it, Dan? There's a really big buzz, and everyone's kind of like this with their cups of tea and coffee. And at the end of the day, we have a big drinks reception. Everyone's there, and we just can't do that because it's too dangerous is probably strong, but it's against COVID-19. So we're saying, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to be able to pick up a glass of wine and just walk around? And there's going to be nice, lovely aisles. So the aisles are going to be 4 meters wide, double what we normally have. So you can easily pass each other. And we've got one aisle that can't be 4 meters, we'll probably make it one way so that you can just walk around. We're educating the exhibitors around what not to put too much stuff on their stands, not to bring brochures because you won't want to take brochures off people. Registration will be contactless. All those kind of things will be there for you so that you know. And if anyone's saying, oh, what about this? Tell me, because I really want to make it as safe as possible for you and for you to feel as comfortable as possible.
Well, I was going to say, I have a stand normally at CHS Leeds, so I would be giving out all my freebies and everything. But that's going to be really challenging now, some of us on here have been to the PA show in London. It's always nice when you come home with your goodie bags, it's quite nice to see.
Maybe you'll have to vacuum pack them and put them in little plastic bags so people can't open them for a while after or something.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Because you know what, Matt? Well, I had this idea early on and then realised I couldn't do it. So very, very early during lockdown, I actually researched it, the 94 pence each. I was researching buying, do you know the old-fashioned back scratchers that you get? The plastic back scratchers with the little claws. I was thinking, let's give everybody a back scratcher, brand it up, and then you can shake hands with the back scratcher, because by the time you've got your hand, the back scratcher, their hand, you will be 2 meters. And then I realised the back scratcher will carry germs. So I can't do it. I thought, that would have been so much fun, everybody being able to shake hands with the back scratchers and what have you. That was kind of, but so every time you have an idea, you think, no, you can't do that.
Is the show this year, is the Birmingham show still going to be split into regions?
Yeah. So again, if you do meetings, you'll be able, and that's a great thing as well about moving around. So if you'll be able to research beforehand who you want to see and make appointments with them. So if you only book meetings in, say, Midlands and London, for example, you'll be able to say, right, the London zone is there, the West Midlands zone is there. I'm going to make my appointments sequentially and go around, and then I can be in, do my meetings, go and watch a seminar, go and have lunch, and then leave if I want to, or go back in. So you don't have to kind of struggle to find anywhere or to browse around. You can do everything, plan your day meticulously beforehand if you want, put your appointments in, and then just do what you need to do. Make sure you do plan some time maybe for a glass of wine at the end of the day and see the keynote speaker and all that kind of thing. It'd be good. But the ICC is massive. I'm sure most of you have aware of it. So even if you want to duck out and go to Starbucks, because and again, we're doing it. There's some people who come to the show that don't organise meetings. So they come because either they're checking the show out for the following year or they're coming just to network, and we're not letting those people in until 2 p.m. So if you're nervous about crowds, just plan everything before 2 p.m. and then go, because at 2 p.m. it will get a little bit busier. So if you think, right, I'm going to put all my appointments in, then I'll see how I feel at 2. I might stay, but at least I've done what I need to do.
Yeah.
and go if it's getting a bit busy for me. So you'll be able to, and even then you'll be able to think, right, okay, but I really want to see the speaker at 4, so I'll go to Starbucks. Or some of you might be able to nip back to the office, but then you might not be able to get back once you get into the office, because you know, I used to be a PA. Once your boss sees you, you've got no chance of getting out.
How many people do you think you'll have in total at the event?
I think what we're aiming for is 350. We call them buyers, which is quite, but kind of guests in the room, and probably less than 200 exhibitors. The room takes normally 1,500, so that would be about 500 at any one time. So if you think, so if it gets a little bit busier, probably maybe buy 100 on the afternoon, but I would imagine that 100 people will leave, because I'd imagine that if people know at 2 o'clock, it's going to get a bit busy. I mean, you know, Dan, all shows get quieter at 2 o'clock normally. So it's not maybe 2 o'clock, but as the day goes on, it gets a bit quieter as people leave. So it'll probably stay about static around a third of the capacity in the room at any one time. So you know, with those wide aisles, you know, as an event organizer, we get judged on busy aisles and really kind of crowded halls. So I've got to educate my exhibitors to say, yes, but the people who are coming really want to hear. You're not going to come for a day out to a show unless you kind of feel there's something in it for you, because why would you put yourself you know, through that if you're feeling a bit nervous? So the people who are coming will be planning, will want to be there, and it will be nice and calm. It will be plenty of room to walk around. It will be, you know, there'll be you know, so yeah, it'll be about a third of the people that are not, no, maybe half the people who are normally at CHS Leeds. So that it won't be, and the aisles there's less stands, so you know that it won't be crammed.
So, and is there a plan to have it virtual if we're not able to do this in October?
Yes. So what we've got is you need to sort of meet.
We just don't know, do you, what's going to happen?
No, absolutely.
I mean, we've got a big event that we have every year, our annual educators conference. We have it at the Aston Villa. And we can't have it, and that's November.
Oh, really? So is that the company you've got? Like, yeah. So we do appreciate that some people can't be there either because they're shielding themselves.
We're full of doctors and consultants, you see, so it's just not safe to have that amount of, like, 300 doctors in the same place at the same time.
No,
so they've decided to not have it this year.
No. What we're doing is, if you're shielding, or if you're just on travel ban, if your company just says no events, you know, you're not allowed to go to anything, etc. Then we've got a ticket. So when you register to attend, you can do the hosted by ticket isn't relevant because that's if you're travelling for more than 90 minutes, and I'm guessing you ladies are all Midlands based.
Birmingham based, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you've got a VIP ticket, which will all be eligible for. So your VIP ticket, that means that you get your lunch and your glass of Prosecco or what have you. So you get looked after throughout the day. It would normally mean you get a VIP goodie bag, but not on this occasion because we want to think of something else nice for you to do or to get in that sense. And then there's a hosted from home ticket. So hosted from home means that we will do our best to host you, but from the comfort of your own home. So you will get anything that you would get on site, you will get delivered to your door. So you'll get things like the programme and what have you to open up through the day. So you'll get something nice delivered to you.
And our bottle of Prosecco delivered.
There'll be something in there. But there'll be something in there. Don't worry, I will. Dan, how good am I looking after people? I'm the first one at the bar, and I'm always tipping people's drinks up.
Emma is amazing.
And is there a cost for the event?
No. There's a lovely people like Dan pay for it, the exhibitors.
So there's no cost at all. So it's a free event.
No. And on your, so even when you're hosted from home or hosted, there's no reason for you to spend a penny at the show, because everything, all your teas and coffees, your lunch, your drinks, everything is just all we look.
My work will say, you know, if you want to go along, they generally pay for us to do these things, but they'll say, oh, how much is it? So if it's free, I'll just say, well, I need a study leave day, so that's fine.
Yeah,
great. Absolutely. Well, I hopefully will be there, as it's 5 minutes from where I live.
If you physically can't be there, you can be hosted from home. What you do then is you come in. It's not Zoom; it's a different platform, but it's like this. So you come in, and we've got a good friend of mine, Sam Allen, who's a fantastic MC, and she is going to be the link between the people from home and the people. So when you have a speaker, they'll then go backstage to see her, and she will have a little one-to-one with the speaker. So if you've got any questions, you don't have to be on the fighting against the people who are there. You can ask any questions with the speakers just from your own home. So she's going to be that link of letting you know what's going on and what have you. So we'll be doing other kind of Facebook Live things throughout the day that you can just go and enjoy. So if we're having cocktail hour at the show, what we're hoping to do is then have cocktails in your thing so that you can, do cocktails as well. So we're trying to get it to the point where you feel as much part of the event from home as you would if you were there. So
home, is there an opportunity to still interact with the exhibitors, Han?
Yeah, so what we're asking people to do from home is to do some, you'll have two options. I'm still working out how we're going to do this exactly, but we're going to ask people if the host is from home, kind of there, and because if you come to the show, although you don't pay, your sort of side of the bargain is that you do a minimum number of appointments, so you do go and see some of the venues that you're interested in. If you're from home, it's not the appointments, we're going to do some speed networking, so some 30-minute slots where you'll just be on the software, kind of will just put you randomly with people that you just have 5 minutes chat with, and then so you might end up with somebody who you would never use as a venue, but you just have a quick 5-minute, meeting new people and networking and what have you. So you'll be asked to do that, but hopefully, yes, you will still have access to the diaries where you can then, it's whether, so Dan, for example, if you're exhibiting, we would say to you, you'd be on site, but have somebody in the office doing appointments as well. So if anybody from home wants an appointment, they can do a Zoom appointment themselves, so that you're not on it's having all the different ways of doing it, but yeah, you'll be able to sort of connect with people and what have you. And there'll be chat functions, so we can do things to the day where if you see someone that you can go, oh hey, and have a one-to-one chat with them and what have you. You can still sit on tables, so you think, can you do that with Hopin? I might be thinking of a different platform, but yeah. So the whole idea is that we look after you and you still give you a great.
Out of interest, who normally in the room organises an exhibition? I know some of you do conferences, but do you have an exhibition as part of your conference? I'm just interested to hear if anyone does.
No, I haven't. Not in this role. I have when I've had arranged an AGM in previous jobs.
Yeah.
But not with this role now. It's just.
How's everyone feeling about meetings and things? Has anybody got meetings to plan coming up? We've had all ours virtual. This will be our 3rd virtual board meeting, and we have 40 consultants. Wow.
So we've had our office closed in March, and we've had nothing since. We're not allowed to go in. There's been no face-to-face, nothing. So all our meetings for my organisation are virtual. So they've worked okay, to be honest. And I think the virtual board meeting has gone better than sometimes the actual face-to-face, because it seems to just stick to agenda. You haven't got people keep getting up to make drinks and stopping, and it just kind of it wraps up in less time.
Yeah,
it worked okay. It's worked okay.
Things have been held since the COVID virtually on Microsoft Teams as well, and the feedback I've had from the chairman on that is that they are running really, really well that way. However, we are looking to hold our next board meeting in September in office. So we're keeping fingers crossed on that. At the moment, though, we're checking out the distance and the risk assessment for the boardroom, because it might be that we just can't get enough people in there. If that's the case, the conversation I had with my chairman last week was that I'd actually go off site and start looking just for options, just in case I need to look for a venue that can take everybody. The good thing for us is we've only got about 10 people for the board meeting, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
So we have 35 on our board, 35, so it's impossible. So we need a room to seat about 100 to take 35, and it's so expensive. Some of the hotels had put the prices really high, so we said no, we're not doing it. So we're just going to go for it and carry on this year, the whole year, for our board meetings at home. So
it's difficult, isn't it? Because you need that. It's that balance of having the face-to-face, isn't it? It's like
we've got a huge board. You see, huge. 35.
Yeah, no. I mean, in just I know it's, you know, for example, we're not, you know, we're not doing any PA forum events face to face for the rest of the year.
No.
We will do online, but it's it's challenging because I personally really miss the face to face, because, you know, it's really nice to see everybody in the room, and you know, it'd be lovely when we do get the chance to do that again. But I was going to ask, Dar, are you in your office?
Yes, I am. Yeah. We've had a couple of face-to-face. In fact, they've come in today for a strategy review meeting, and some people are up in Preston in their board room, and we've got some in the Warwick office in the boardroom here, and then they're connecting via Teams. So that's what they've. But that's only happened recently in the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but up until then, it's all and they're still using Teams. So they'll do it within sites and then connect with Teams.
Yeah.
And again, if it's not convenient, some people that'll just do everything from home. So it just depends. So, but more people are coming into the office, and I think it's because people have missed the face-to-face connection as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's kind of, I must have written an article actually about, you know, saying to people, don't give up on face-to-face. Yes, virtual has its place completely in terms of if you can't put people in a room together, if you can't, you know, it does save travel costs. But ultimately, you know, having a board meeting works great, because I've been on some board meetings, and it's great because people don't tend to speak over each other, because you have to wait until someone's finished speaking, whereas sometimes when you put a lot of people in a boardroom, everyone just wants to. But conversely, when you want that, if you want to do a brainstorming session, or you want to get some energy in the room, or you want to sort of sell a vision, that's not what you do virtually. I think that, and that human connection of just missing people is, you know, and certainly our industry, isn't it? I mean, my biggest challenge at Birmingham will be stopping people from hugging, because is a really big kind of, so everybody, I went to see Ryan at Park Regis, and it was just awful not being able to give him a hug. It's quite hard, but
that happened the first time I came in the office, as say sort of 3 people I hadn't seen for 3 months. I just want to give you a hug. Yeah.
Like, I'll give you a hug outside, because you know, I'm not going to hug you inside. Which is, I was going to say, Tracy, if you're looking at looking at doing something off-site, a good rule of thumb, if you're doing any desk research, is a room that would normally take 3 times what you need would be sufficient. So if you get a room that takes 30, which a lot of rooms do, that will do your 10. And then speak to the venue, ask them what their COVID-19 rules are. And some venues have been better than others, I would say. But if you get the pack, that should give you confidence. So, I mean, again, but being at Park Regis last week, the lengths they are going to, it's amazing. So staying in the hotel, they've got like stickers on the door. So if that seal is broken, you know that someone's been in there. So when they clean a room, then they go over it with the fog it, then they go around with the infrared light to check there's no fingerprints or anything anywhere in the room. Then they shut the door, and then they seal it so nobody can go in until the person, and then you can say, if you're there for multiple nights, you can say, please do not come into my room to clean it. I'll keep it clean. Or you can say the other way around, you do want them to come in and service you. Yeah. They're doing, and they've got some really nice spaces. So if you're looking for something that's kind of central Birmingham to do that, I know they're doing a really good job.
Okay, great, thank you.
I think the hotels, I think for example, Resorts World, we're not open until the 17th of August, but the reason we're not is because all the guidelines were changing so much. We thought we might as well wait till everything is in place and then reopen. But Park Regis has stayed open for the whole time, because we had Ryan on before, because they've been helping out key workers as well.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to see how the meetings are going to go, because, like I say, those board meetings and those quarterly meetings, or those, you know, end of year sales meetings, or Christmas parties, or exhibitions, it's just, the list is endless, isn't it, of what events.
It's sensible though, because we're doing all this stuff now in our daily lives. It's just reminding people that just because of a board meeting, that those rules still apply. So still wash your hands, still use your sanitizer, still keep your distance.
Yeah.
you do those things, the chances of, you know, if you keep your distance and someone in that room does have it, some hotels are doing temperature checking, which actually has been advised against from government. They've advised that people don't do it. We're not doing it for the show because it's not reliable. People can have a temperature for lots of different reasons, and once it's kind of, what do you do if somebody's got that temperature? So, and I thought I had one at the weekend. I think I was just having a hot flush. Great, out there. You don't have to put up with this, Dan. Took my temperature, and I was still 36. I was boiling. So if you're over 40, you will know you've got a temperature, you know, and I think we are all sensible people when it comes to it. No one's going to come if they've got. You won't be able to get out of bed if you've got. I felt awful with what I thought was real. So I took my temperature just in case. It's like nowhere near a temperature. Yeah. If I was any hotter, I would absolutely know that I had something wrong with me. So there's all, you know, but it's. Yes, I mean, and if you're having meetings, I would advise against doing temperature checks. Personally, it's not kind of the government's advice is not to do it, because the implications if somebody has a temperature, you can't just send them home. You've got to then isolate them where they are, see if they cool down, check them again, make sure they get tested, and it's all on you. So I think what we're doing is saying, you know, where the venue's responsible for this, we're responsible for this, and you as individuals are responsible for washing your own hands. You know, there'll be sanitizer, but if you want to bring your own, if you want to wear a mask, bring your own. Yeah. So again, if you're tempted to do masks for people, don't, because the implication, if somebody has it and they dispose of their mask incorrectly, and then somebody else picks it up to put it in the bin, you know, you don't keep it to being their responsibility for their own masks.
I was going to say, a lot of people are looking at branded, merchandise, like branded masks and branded hand sanitizers and all that kind of stuff. You know,
but these are spots like, who wants to sponsor hand sanitizers? Like, welcome to Resorts World. This is our brand, and hand sanitizer. You know, it's kind of like,
yeah. But I mean, if you look at, you know, like the delegate wranglers, people are putting, you know, where can I would need branded masks, or I need this. And I thought to myself, like, you're not going to walk around with a branded mask of a venue's name on it or a restaurant. You know what I mean? Because it's, you know, if it was a designer one, then maybe. But it's
more Prada, you know, masks, then I'd absolutely do it. But yeah, budget doesn't stretch quite.
Yeah, I've just got visions of people walking around with like pictures of venues and stuff on there. So,
hotel doors, kind of. But I would keep it really simple. And so things like the stop, you're not allowed to use lanyards and badges anymore. So it's all that kind of stuff. So just my advice would be just to keep it as simple as possible if you're doing meetings. Just take away anything that's, you know, that you have to pick up or anything like that. And
we've had some feedback from Judy in the chat box, and she's put, you know, when looking for a venue, try not to do something the same, try and do something different, like gala dinners might be a thing of the past, you know. But
well, our awards happen after the show, so that we have an award ceremony for hotels, and it was planned to be a gala dinner after the show in Birmingham, and we haven't got the room to do it, so we're just going to do a drinks reception, keep it simple, put some entertainment on, do the awards, and then done, and just. You're probably getting alcohol is my response to anything. It's like, just give them alcohol.
I think we're looking at we're just looking at awards, taking our awards online this year, and there's so many different options out there. There's so many. I think people have adapted to those, you know, to bringing stuff online quite quickly. As I say, we've got our conference coming up at the end of September, but I am interested because I'm working with Emma to look at speakers for the show as well. So if you were to go to the show, what type of topics would you like to hear from the keynote speakers or from the theatres that will be having speakers on? What type of topics would you be interested in? Or what do you think that if there was a topic on and you wanted to go to the show, would help you with your, you know, saying to your boss, look, I want to come out of the office because I do want to come to see this show?
Meetings related, it could be any aspect of your job. It's speakers for you guys. So it's
so any topics that, because I'll work with Emma then to try and obviously get the speakers. But is there any particular topics that you would like to hear if you were to come out to the show? Can you think of any?
I'd say like digital skills. I know it's probably everyone's kind of had to adapt to kind of doing meetings on Zoom or Teams or whatever, but I think just that in a whole, just I don't know how people have adapted to working online, or kind of PAs I think quite often talk about best practices, so maybe best practices about like more digital things now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hayley, there. I think anything to do with tech, really, because I quite often feel like I'm a bit of a dinosaur with it. I know I use that word an awful lot, but I'm not up there really where I probably should be on the technical side of things. So yeah, I totally agree. That would be really useful.
And would you say across various different things, or all different types of tech?
I would probably say not. It's more, especially with the feedback we've had from the forum, it's not more like the social media side of things. It's more the applications. So it's more the Google applications, the applications you can use on Microsoft, etc. The time-saving things, the organisational things, those are the things. So we're running, at our conference, we're running a Microsoft, there's 30 tips they get. So it's a 30-tipped Microsoft session. So every single person will come away with 30 different tips they can do on Microsoft. And then in the afternoon, we're running a session on Slack, on Trello, on Google applications. So we can feed the minds of the Google.
Because if people are coming to yours, I don't want to hear the same.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, the challenge is like, we can only touch, there's so many that we can only touch on them, and not everyone will come to our conference, or not everyone will come to the show. So, you know, it's got the balance there. But I think if it's anything techy like that, that's organisational, that is time saving, or communication, like things like Microsoft Teams is a massive one. People love to know more about that. All of those different types of applications are really, really popular, aren't they, ladies?
When you're doing meeting, are you familiar with all the things you can do on Zoom, like surveys, breakout rooms, one-to-one sessions, things like that? Would you have any
helpful? I have no idea about any of that. We're not able to use Zoom. We're allowed to join Zoom, but we're not allowed to book meetings through Zoom. We're only able to use Teams, but a lot of our consultants on hospital sites, their trusts don't support Teams, so we're having to try and use a hybrid between some Skype, some Teams. So it's all a bit of a challenge for us.
Right, okay, well I can take that away and think what if we can kind of sort of do a deep dive, because there's things we could maybe do as well that are more sort of not seminar led, like round table discussions where you can go and just, so if you want to have a deep dive into something like Teams and what else you can do, and have like around, can't have a table of 10 anymore, but kind of rethink that, somehow get you on the smaller groups and do something like that. Teams, Zoom, so whatever people can use, you can kind of just go and do that. We can have a look at doing some more deep dives into.
We were going to have campfire tables this year at the conference, but we can't do that because we were going to have experts on each of the tables, and people could book 3 experts and move around the tables, but we can't do that now. And it's
like
quite
carousels almost.
Yeah, and so you might not want to know about one particular application, but you might be interested in another. So you could just book the 3 applications that you wanted in a quick, short fire kind of session, 20 minutes, and then just do a little masterclass overview of what.
Ones though, we could do some clinics.
Yeah, I think.
So you can just like almost like when you book your appointments, you go and book an expert on Teams or an expert on Zoom or.
Yeah. No, definitely. Is there anything else apart from technology and applications? Is there anything else, anyone?
Managing staff virtually and do virtual inductions. Because I've got a new member of staff who's going to be reporting to me, and she's got some disabilities, so she's got some other issues as well. But doing virtual staff inductions and managing staff virtually, that would be a real, if anyone's got any kind of hints and tips or any kind of stories they can share with that type of thing, that would be really useful.
And does everybody else have that same thing about kind of work, because even
Yeah.
if
We're going to do a whole new virtual induction for her, which is going to be difficult.
That would be good for me. I've got a person that's going to be working for me that's actually based on a different site, so our relationship is going to be totally virtual.
Well, this lady's going to, because she's got some disability, she's going to be working from home permanently.
Yeah.
So I'll be her manager, and she's got to do that. So
I was thinking, how do you manage your bosses virtually? I'm looking at Julie Bale because I know her boss. Like, because you know, I'm sure they think that they manage you, but I do know in your world it's the other way around. You've got to keep them in check. Imagine it's hard.
Yeah,
enough.
of course. Yeah. Sorry, Dan, go on.
Tell us, because I know you've put in a chat box as well here, Jill, because you put about online customer service skills as well.
It's very different. Yeah, I think if you're talking about like communication in general, whether that be with a colleague or a boss or, you know, somebody that you're managing, communication is different now. There's nothing better than having face-to-face, being in the same room, and communication. That will always trump everything else, because you can read body language, you can, you know, comfort somebody, you know when to step in, because you can, you know, so it's really, really difficult. And I think that probably transfers as well. Like I've put about online customer service skills. It's different when you're dealing with customers online as it is if you're normally in a kind of a face-to-face world. But I mean, I have a weekly one-to-one session on a telephone call, which isn't the same. And I've had to kind of like call my boss out at times because he's out walking. I'm like, no, that's not acceptable. You know, this is kind of my time. And I don't want to hear that, you know, the traffic zooming past you because you're getting your steps in. No, that's not right, because I wouldn't do that. You know, and I think you've still got to have that kind of level of professionalism, which is difficult when you're trying to do it virtually. Because things, I mean, I saw something about like a Zoom meeting, and at the end of the Zoom, everybody waves, don't they? Never wave if you were leaving a boardroom, would you, to everybody? Like, bye, as you're coming out of a boardroom. You just wouldn't do it, but on Zoom you do. So I think, yeah, we're all kind of acting a little bit differently, but I think it's just to try and get the communication at the right level, so pitch it at the right level. And if you have got somebody, sorry, my internet's dropping out.
That's right, we've still got you.
That's the part, because my phone rings, it rings on my iPad and my laptop, so my phone's just rang, it's on silent whilst I'm doing this, and then everything rings. It's like I just kind of, so yeah, kind of, how do you imagine being in a crunch meeting where you're just about to news or something, and then get dropped out of Zoom? It's kind of, it's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, of course. And I think like one thing that I would always, or we've noticed as well, like when we're trying to call somebody out, if you're doing something as simple as like a screen share, or you know, if you're on Zoom, if you're screen sharing, make sure that all the tabs are closed along the top. I don't want to look at your, you know, online food shop and where you're thinking of going on holiday and what other websites you might be looking at. You know, there's little things like that that you need to kind of remember. And I'm
just closing down all my tabs at the moment.
It's trying to send a private email and it comes up on your screen. It's like, you know.
And it's things like that. There's weight in something that, and you could probably do it in quite like a comedy kind of way of, you know, like 10 things not to do when you're holding a Zoom meeting, as opposed to, this is the button that you need to press to do this. This is the button, you know, make sure, you've got a shortcut here. Actually, we need to start looking at, you know what the basics are? Don't share your screen. Remember what's behind you. Know where the mute button is. You know, the real basics of, let's get this right, and try and picture yourself as in, you know, would I behave in this way if I was in the same room as somebody? Or would I accept this behaviour, if you like, if they were in the same room as me? Probably not. You know, I don't want to go into a meeting with somebody that's, you know, going for a walk around the streets, or, you know, checking the phone while they're talking to me on the meeting, or, you know, answering a quick email while they're supposed to be engaged in what you're doing online.
Sitting there in their pyjamas.
Well, you know, I'm quite happy if you've got pyjama bottoms on, but at least change your top.
Put a decent top on.
Or put a top on. Yeah, that'd be a start.
Yeah, wear a top. Good.
One thing I found is when you're managing a team virtually is that you can't tell as much. So if I've had meetings, I've said to my sort of number 2 who works for me, said, can you, if we're delivering something, some news, I've been keeping like staff that are furloughed updated, so we have like some, you know, some meetings where we get the team on and what have you. I have to say to her, can you watch the body language while I deliver the message, because I can't think about what I have to say and deliver and kind of what, and I'll have the conversation, I'll make sure everyone's engaged and speaking to them. Can you just watch if anybody like drops out of being engaged in the call, so that we can bring them back in and what have you. It's very, whereas if you're in a room, if someone's not happy, you can tell, can't you? Because the atmosphere, the air actually changes. Or if somebody's concerned, you know, we're looking now at when we're bringing people back off furlough, it's like we're very much aware that that's text coming in while I'm talking to you. You're very much aware that there's a lot of nervousness around, and we're you know, sort of saying to people, we get it, you know, tell us what you're physically nervous about and we'll do what we can to ease you coming back into work. And we know that if you've been off for 5 months, just getting out of bed in the morning on time will be a challenge when you've been furloughed for 5 or 6 months, kind of thing. So yeah, Julie, I agree. It's that kind of, it's hard. Everything's just so much more difficult. It's easier, like you're saying, Donna, in terms of the board meetings, of keeping people to schedule and there's less sort of chit chat kind of thing, but it has its pros and cons, doesn't it?
It does. Because for me, with having to induct a new member of staff, you know, I'm trying to put together an induction for her to virtually meet other managers in the first week, but nothing takes away the fact that she's not going to actually meet them, or probably ever will meet them, because she's going to be permanently home based.
And she's okay with that though, because that might be her experience.
Yeah.
Be more familiar with that and more comfortable with that than what
maybe. But the job I'm taking her on to do isn't really there anymore, because she was there to be my assistant, so to do my copying, my printing, my binding, make the drinks for the meetings, all that type of stuff, room setup. We're not doing that anymore, so she's going to have a different type of job now. So yeah, it's going to be challenging time.
Donna's got that with inductions. Jodie's put how to approach progression discussions and trying to make sure, you know, it's very easy, I think, as well.
Appraisals and things like that, yeah.
On Zoom, everybody, somebody said it to me the other day, why Zoom just automatically gets put in for an hour, and then somebody said, well, why does it need, if a meeting needs to be 15 minutes, it needs to be 15 minutes. If it's 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes. I think we just set half an hour, or we set an hour and expect the meeting to be that long as well. And it's trying to get people's attention, and obviously not, you know, people can get very busy. I suppose that comes down to really good diary management, doesn't it? So
so that's
there you go. So yeah, but I think it's been great to get your input today, and obviously to hear about the exciting developments with the show, Emma. We're really glad you're coming to Birmingham. You have supported us at the PA Forum over the last 2 years, and we're really grateful, and obviously we work so closely together anyway. But yeah, we will support the show obviously as much as we possibly can. We hope that our members will come along, or either virtually or to the show itself, and hopefully show some.
It's great to have you all involved, guys, and say any ideas for them by Dan, or come to me, you can link in with me and what have you on LinkedIn. It's not
we have got, unfortunately, on the 27th of October, we are doing our shortlisting we've got our second interviews with all of the awards candidates. But that's not to say we can't come and have a drink after. So, but no, and because we're interviewing the candidates, they'll only have 15-minute calls, so they can, you know, they'll be free to come along and visit the show for sure. But we are, unfortunately, me and Tracy Narinda will be busy that day. I'm gutted because I really want to come, but I will help and support you with speakers, and obviously trying to get people to come and visit.
Off my Christmas card list, Daniel.
I'm so sorry, but no, I just wanted to say a massive thank you, Emma. What I'll do, is there a link to book on to register yet, or is there
let me put it in the chat.
Okay,
I can give it to you as well.
Yeah, please do, because what I'll do is when I send the recording out, I can send out the link to
.com, but it might be .co.uk. But
Okay.
I'll
No
send it
worries.
to Dan anyway, and you can
Yeah.
circulate.
No worries. I'm going to send him, I'm going to circulate a follow-up email and copy Emma in. So if any of you got any questions or queries, then please do carry on the conversation with Emma. She'd love to hear from you. And obviously, I know some of you work in some quite big organisations where there's quite a lot of assistance. So she might be interested. I know, for example, with PwC, Emma might be interested to see how she could work with you, trying to obviously showcase to much more assistance as well. So, and Jodie, like Shoesmiths, will have quite a few assistants, won't they, as well?
Yeah, I think we do make it really easy for you to sort of spread the word as well. So if you register, you can kind of put it out to your networks and everything. So anything, just ask. We're more than happy to oblige. Okay,
perfect. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Tomorrow, if you want to join us, we've got this event. We've got the future of venue showcases. So we've got IHG Group coming in to talk about some of their hotels in London, Scotland, West Midlands, down south, and doing some innovative showcasing online, as well as Ashbourne Hill in Leamington. So if you fancy that one tomorrow, drop me a line. Next week, we've got the PA as the trusted advisor on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we've got a VA forum meeting. And on Thursday, we've got an introduction to PR for PAs. So if you want to learn more about that, then drop me a line and I'll book you on as well. But thank you so much, everybody. Emma, it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And we'll see you soon.